We also have some foreign military will come and support the air display, and we have F-16 from Poland. We have the Swiss PC-7 display team, and the Dutch military Spitfire is also displaying. So that's the international effort.
Present as a so-called dirty roll. Why we call it dirty roll? Because the pilot flies this slow roll with the landing gear and flaps down, which is not the case with a normal clean roll. This requires very precise control of the aircraft with constant checking of speed and altitude in every respect from them. And we're delighted to have their sole British Airshow representation of the season here at Cosford. So now we are looking ahead to the last couple of display items we have for you this afternoon. Next will be the swordfish position for its display. We're then going to get the P-47 and the P-51 into the air to depart to Duxford. So the P-47 going to Duxford, the Mustang might be heading to Sywell, I can't quite recall. But anyway, they will be airborne on their way, and then the Chinook is going to close the show. That's plenty about Cal. Now it's time to prepare yourself for the highlight of today's flying, Cosford. Please turn your eyes to the sky for the 2025 Chinook roll demonstration. There she goes. The Chinook is deployed operationally all over the world and is the go-to aircraft for the rapid insertion and extraction of troops in dangerous locations. As the defence adage goes, the answer is two Chinooks. What is the question? That's applied ever since the Chinook joined the RAF in 1980 and is true today as it was then. To start the show, Cal's given us a wing over, rapidly turning back onto target, trading his speed for height and back again. The crew are now preparing in the cabin to drop off troops onto target. As the aircraft turns in for a downwind quick stop, they will simulate a late spot at the landing site to offload troops and vehicles either on or off the battlefield. In the back, they're being efficient with their recce, making sure it's suitable to land on in the minimum possible time to avoid any threat exposure. Having found their site and making their approach, crewman Josh up front will be giving voice marshalling directions to Cal, talking him forward and down onto the landing site and monitoring the height of the aircraft as she comes into land. On the ramp here today is Flight Sergeant Dave Sims. Born and raised in Margate, Kent, he joined the RAF in September 2014 as a weapons systems operator and has been on the Chinook force since 2017. He's a qualified helicopter crewman instructor and has accumulated over 2,000 hours on rotary platforms. When Dave's not in work, and occasionally whilst he is in work, he can usually be found on the golf course. Those of you up close can see Dave clearing the troops and vehicles to exit the aircraft at the ramp. Riding into the roll demo with some style today, we have members of the Joint Helicopter Support Squadron. Keep one eye on that quad bike if you will, to see just how critical these enablers are at working fast. With the troops have quad bike gone, the aircraft departs with an over-the-shoulder transition, a defensive manoeuvre presenting the floor ballistic protection towards any probable threat. This gives the aircraft and any occupants the greatest possible chance of protection. With the aircraft turned away, Cal climbs the aircraft to return and provide some mutual support. Think of this profile as overhead protection for the troops now exposed on the ground, or alternatively, it allows a pair of Chinooks to land in sequence without any loss of airborne protection. We don't have any guns fitted for you today, but if we did, you'd see Dave and Josh ready to employ the crew-served weapon systems. The Chinook can be fitted with an M60 machine gun on the ramp and two M134 miniguns on the port and starboard sides, each of which is capable of firing 3,000 rounds a minute, or 50 rounds a second, making one hell of a noise. The Chinook and its crew can protect itself and deter engagements anywhere in the world. As they dive away for another wing over, it's time to introduce our co-pilot for today's show. Joining Cal in the cockpit is Flight Lieutenant Jacob Cameron Johnson. CJ is originally from Cottingham, East Riding of Yorkshire, joined the RAF in 2016 and got his wings in December 2021. He spent his first 12 months showing them off to air cadets by flying them and other air experienced passengers in the Grob Tutor from RAF Wittering. CJ is the baby of the team, joining the front line in 2023. Feel free to call him a crow if you see him. He's an avid fan of Formula One, but when he realised he was too tall, he decided to become a Chinook pilot. Forget the revs of F1, CJ, the best noise in the world is that bit of blade slap. The crew are now positioning for a fast roping approach, decelerating rapidly to accurately dispatch troops on a tight or otherwise unsuitable landing site. Think about rooftops or the deck of a ship, but today it's in front of you, lucky devils. In the starboard door you can see Josh kicking out the ropes, ready to supervise the dispatch of troops, while Dave does the same at the ramp. Unfortunately, due to operational commitments, we don't have any troops to demonstrate for you today, but you will still see the ropes go out. Up to 30 troops can begin departing a hovering Chinook in less than 2 minutes with that profile. Not just troops, stores of kit, and even some furry land sharks, more formally known as military working dogs, can go down these ropes, often giving the enemy pause for thought when bitten by a whisker. Cal's departed with another over the shoulder. Dave has jettisoned his ropes at the ramp, but Josh is now working hard to pull his back into the cabin. So let's watch him getting a sweat on and introduce him at the same time. Sergeant Josh Lyons is a Staffordshire lad. He joined the RAF in 2014 as an aerospace systems operator and was posted to Scampton. In 2017 he made the right choice to retrade to aircrew and became a weapons systems operator. In his 5 years on the Chinook force, Josh has accumulated over 1,200 hours on Chinook, completed multiple operational deployments, been on the Queen Liz, and conducted overseas exercises in Sweden, Denmark, Poland, Cyprus, Jordan, and the US. Outside of work, he enjoys travelling, skiing, and for his sins is a season ticket holder at Wolverhampton Wanderers. This is the highlight of the Royal Demo season for Josh. Having grown up in nearby Penkridge, he attended Cosford Air Show yearly as a child with his dad, who sadly passed away in 2021. Josh is dedicating his performance today to his memory. Well, for those of you who are keeping an eye on that JHSS team on the ground, the crew are now returning in to pick up that quad bike which has been rapidly re-prepared by JHSS as an underslung load. Underslung loads are the bread and butter of the Chinook force, with all crew members front and back working together to manoeuvre that 99-foot-long aircraft into a finely tuned position. That's 99 feet and 8 inches if every inch is important to you. Cal's positioned in the overhead of the load under Josh's direction. Dave is looking through the centre hatch to safely direct the pickup of that quad bike, and all four crew are working in synchronisation with the team on the ground beneath the hovering aircraft. You may notice some of the hookers holding their arms up. One is holding a static discharge probe or zap snapper. They make sure to touch that hook first to dissipate any static electricity, which is critical in dusty environments like the desert, saving a nasty shot. As they transition away with that quad bike, they're watching the swing. Chinook is used in operations moving stores, freight and vehicles everywhere from Afghanistan to Whaley Bridge. The Chinook can carry 3 underslung loads simultaneously and carry up to 11.3 tons on its centre hook alone. This quad bike attached to the aft hook weighs just 350 kilos, but if it can be rigged, the Chinook and the hookers can take it. This capable aircraft is even able to pick up another Chinook, albeit with a few bits cut off to save some weight. With a maximum all-up mass of 24.5 tons, this workhorse can comfortably fit 30 troops inside, with seating on the floor up to 50. The raw power and versatility of the Chinook is all down to its iconic tandem rotor design, giving you that whocker. It provides huge amount of lift, a large cabin, and is all achieved without any of that dangerous messing about with tail rotors. Leading JHS today on the ground, we have Corporal Jordan, who served 9 years with the British Army Air Corps. He served the majority of his time with 656 Squadron, working as ground crew on Apache. He's deployed to a variety of places, including Cyprus, Jordan, Norway, and some ship-based exercises. He's now a helicopter handling instructor based at RAF Benson, leading teams on extremely high readiness. If you're looking back at that unlucky quad bike, the crew are monitoring the load during all stages of flight, but particularly during deceleration as swings develop. These road vehicles are not big fans of heights. The crew are moving the aircraft to counteract that swing as the load reduces in the airflow. They're now returning to drop off the underslung load with an operational drop-off, which is the combined rapid drop of a load and the strops to egress away from a threat. Used in dusty or high-threat environments, it's vital to get supplies rapidly onto the battlefield. With that load gone, the crew will be setting off once more into a wingover, and they will now be positioning for a running landing. Running landings are used in situations where performance may be limited. This could be due to a hot and high environment like the desert or high above sea level landing sites. However, it's also routinely practiced for emergency landing. It's our preferred landing style in the event of a single engine failure that may not give us sufficient performance for a hover. As Cal brings the aircraft back in, he'll be looking to set up at 80 knots and then fly a constant 3-degree approach to flare the aircraft's last bit of speed off at the bottom end. I can't even do a wheelie on a bike, so spare a thought now for the pilots attempting one while 30 feet in front of their wheels. Josh is monitoring the height into the front wheels while Dave monitors the aft disc. At 26 degrees nose up, those aft rotor blades would strike the ground, and nobody wants that to happen, let me tell you. The teamwork amongst the crew allows for effective information to be passed to Cal and CJ as they handle this long machine. As they approach zero speed, those of you on the right-hand side of the crowd will get to see a Chinook party piece, one of the only helicopters in the world that can reverse on 2 wheels. As As the aircraft lift once more, Dave the Wave Sims is going to have the best seat in the house, on the ramp looking out on all you lovely people here today. In case you can't spot him, he's the one waving the gigantic orange hands. Those are definitely his real hands, and he can be quite embarrassed about them, to make sure to give him a big wave as he goes past. Prepare their airborne audition for Strictly Come Dancing with a few pirouettes. Let's do a final shout out to the people on the ground to make all of this happen. The Chinook is supported by a huge team that keep the airframes functional and airworthy 365 days a year, holding national standby and readiness commitments for worldwide operations. It's worth noting that the Chinook flying for you today draws its crews exclusively from frontline units, with our roll demo activities conducted around normal operational commitments. It's thanks to the tireless work of our aircrew, engineers, ops, survival equipment specialists and all the other supporting functions that has enabled us to come and deliver the demo for you today. All good things must come to an end, folks, so to end the show for you today, we'll see a final bow from the crew. Incredible Gorny climb. Named after the base in Bosnia where the Chinook demonstrated its power, dominating other helicopter types during the Kosovo War. The demo is at an end, so one more time everyone, please put your hands together for the 2025 Chinook roll demonstration.
We've got a lost person. If you're the family of Alfie Belger, please come to the tent at the front of the control tower. Please come to the yellow and white striped tent at the front of the control tower. That's the family of Alfie Belger. Thank you.
And a kind of final fly past from the Chinook. That does bring to a close the flying display programme for this year's Cosford Air Show. And then I think we've had a pretty good day.
We certainly have. We've got away with it weather-wise. We had that nasty period early on. It wasn't too bad, actually, was it? Just restricted the visibility a bit, brought the cloud base down slightly. But other than that, it's been very nice for the most part for display flying. Rather grey for the most part of the afternoon, but nonetheless we've seen lots of full displays and a great deal to enjoy.
I wonder where the 6 hours goes. It just